Shidalik, everybody, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Yeah?
it sounds great.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay. So, page 101. Page 101 in the Wonder text. Visualize Guru Rinpoche along with the Dakas and Dakinis rising up in this air and then playing beautiful music and chanting this inspiration song, disturbing the sleep of ignorance. So you wake up to that. Ke mai ke hu kalden reke bo mare te mo wange mane par Zindru ngar ke dan dai yar long dai to me dine dan lai to ke bar Mare wange nel yuen de choinge dane manel gosum ge lai be Kega na che dunga me she sam de ren zam ya ta be go ka me drum lai zin ru ge be de lai ba da re jin bu den de to be nyom le ngang la de be de ma yin che wa sam la du ba ta ru ke Tsela longme chigen same chaen de tse me tsere deng she ma tom na. Keboe kene sembae je je ron che nam da me don je che dan je. Jumae me ju me lam zunen dan je ze dongere ja ja tambu. Chundae chuburo miguro juban son shenja jume pechu de jendo. Konde chenam kege shembarangi chenam ranchen kewa me pat. Neme game droy me ba o me me tsema me chen samje. Dende dombara jawe de la ba. Namo Guru Be, Namo Deva Be, Namo Dake Be. O alas, alas, fortunate child of Buddha nature, do not be oppressed by the forces of ignorance and delusion, but rise up now with resolve and courage. Entranced by ignorance from beginningless time until now, you have had more than enough time to sleep. So do not slumber any longer, but strive after virtue with body, speech, and mind. Are you oblivious to the sufferings of birth, old age, sickness, and death? There is no guarantee that you will survive even past this very day. The time has come for you to develop perseverance in your practice. For at this singular opportunity, you could attain the everlasting bliss of Buddhahood. So now is certainly not the time to sit idly, but starting with the reflection on death, you should bring your practice to completion. The moments of our life are not expendable, but the possible circumstances of death are beyond imagination. If you do not achieve an undaunted confident security now, what point is there in your being alive, O fortunate being? All phenomena are ultimately selfless. All phenomena are selfless, empty, and free from conceptual elaboration. In their dynamic, they resemble an illusion, mirage, dream, or reflected image. A Gandharva city, an echo, a reflection of the moon in water. A bubble, an optical illusion, or an intangible emanation. You should know that all things of cyclic existence and nirvana accord in nature with its 10 similes of illusory phenomena. All phenomena are naturally unborn. They neither abide nor cease, nor come nor go, neither come nor go. They are without objective referent or characteristics, ineffable and free from thought. The time has come for these truths to be realized. Homage to the Lama, homage to the Idam, homage to the Dakini. Namo Guru Pe, Namo Dewa Be, Namo Dhaki. Let's all try to do together so that we can catch if you're doing correctly. Make sure you pinch this one like this. This thumb is inside, so you cover like this or like that. Yeah, this one pinches the ring finger. This ring finger crease here like that. And then back of here. Your right hand first, facing outside. Breathe in. Then plug your left nostril now and breathe out through your right. Okay, your left hand. Breathing through your right. Plug your right nostril and breathe out through your left. Okay. The left hand. Good. Now through both your nostrils. And breathe in, and then hold your breath for a while. And then rub your thighs like that. Like that. And then cover your knees like that. Okay. Now, blessing the speech, page 3. Om Ahum. Fire rising from rum syllable consumes my tongue, transforming it into a three-pronged vajra of red light. In its center are the vowels and consonants, surrounded by the mantra, the essence of interdependent origination. From these syllables, like a string of pearls, light rays stream out, making offerings to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, pleasing them. As these rays return, all obscurations of my speech are purified, and I receive all the blessings and siddhis of Vajra speech. A a e u re re le le e I o a wang ha ka 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 ga nga cha 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 jan da 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 na da 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 na pa 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 ba ma ya ra la wa sha sa sa ha cha Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetun deshan tata gato haya vadata te shanchayo nirodha evam badi mahashramana swaha. A a e o re re le le e I o avanga ha ka ka ga ga nga cha 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 na ta 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 da. Ta 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 da na pa 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 ma ya ra la wa sha sa sa ha cha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetun deshan Hayavadanta Teshanchayo Nirodha Yevam Vadi Mahashramana Swaha A A I U Re Re Le Le E I O Au Angaha Ka 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 Ga Cha 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 Na Da 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 Na Da 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 Na Pa 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 Ma Yara Lawa Sha Sa Sa Ha Cha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetun Teshan Tata Gato Hayavadanta Teshanchayo Nirodha Evam Vadi Mahashramana Swaha A A I U Re Re Le Le E I O Au Angaha Ka 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 Nga Cha 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 Na Da 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 Na Da 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 Na Pa 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 Ma Yara Lawa Shasa Saha Cha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetun Teshan Tata Gato Haya Vadata Teshanchayo Nirodha Evam Vadi Mahashramana Swaha A A I U Re Re Le Le E I O Au Angaha Ka 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 Nga Cha 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 Na Da 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 Na Da 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 Na Pa 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 Ma Yara Lawa Shasa Saha Cha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetun Teshan Tata Gato Haya Vadata Teshanchayo Nirodha Evam Vadi Mahashramana Swaha A A I U Re Re Le Le E I O Au Angaha Ka 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 Nga Cha 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 Na Da 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 Na Da 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 Na Pa 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 Ma Yara Lawa Shasa Saha Cha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetun Teshan Tata Gato Haya Vadata Teshanchayo Nirodha Evam Vadi Mahashramana Swaha A A I U Re Re Le Le E I O Au Angaha Ka 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 Ga Nga Cha 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 Na Da 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 Na Da 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 Na Pa 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 Ma Yara Lawa Shasa Saha Cha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetun Teshan Tata Gato Haya Vadata Teshanchayo Nirodha Evam Badi Mahashamana So. The mantra. Om Sambara Sambara. Om Sambara Sambara Bimana Sara Maha Zamba. Om Sambara Sambara Bimana Sara Maha Zamba. Om Sambhara Sambhara Bimana Sara Maha Zambaho. 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 Okay, now page 17. Lama ke. Sorry, page 13. Lama ke. Lama ke. Niwe de pe gesarje pa ne cha che den chen lama yara alajin le dan mo dan bezir wa ye ke wa ngem pa dan la jo ope chen Chiwara de chen korlo jendo jo jenda she jen kun chang shen so O Lama, please think of me. O Lama, please think of me. O Lama, please think of me. From the blossoming lotus of devotion at the center of my heart, arise, O kind Lama, my only refuge, in order to protect me, the miserable unfortunate one, who is overwhelmingly tormented by karma and mental affliction. I pray that you remain as the jewel ornament on the crown chakra of great bliss, arousing all of my mindfulness and awareness. Back to page 5. Through your kindness, great bliss itself instantly arises as the precious jewel-like body of the Lama. I bow at the lotus feet of the Vajra holder. The Lama is the Buddha, the Lama is the Dharma. Likewise, the Lama is the Sangha. The Lama is the one who bestows all. I bow to the Lama's body, speech, and mind. That which all the guides have completely abandoned, the abyss of the miserable realms. I was bound toward it, to the one who has perfectly handed me the path of liberation. The greatest of guides, I bow down. I did not know what was right or what was wrong. I wandered onto wrong paths, and grasped onto ego, the greatest ignorance. I praise the Lama that illuminates my mistaken belief in the self. Seeing your body brings illumination. Even the degenerated one sleeping in peace will purify the inexpiable actions, as the sutra has said. I bow to the one in whom any connection is meaningful. By hearing your speech, what should be accepted or rejected is understood. One is protected from the abyss of great misdeeds. This itself is the essence of the truth of cessation and the path to cessation. I render praise to the melody of the great liberation upon hearing. However I have tried, I have not been freed. Yet a glance of your wisdom mind ripens me immediately. And when there is devotion, realization dawns. I bow to the inconceivable, that which is beyond conceptual elaboration. Through practicing austerities for three countless eons, even by torturing one's mind through tormenting hardship, Vajrasattva is difficult to attain. I bow to the teacher who has actually and unmistakably taught this. Lama, precious Buddha, I have no other hope than you. Please gaze upon me with your eyes of great compassion and liberate me from the ocean of samsara. May all excellence of this life be accomplished without any hindrances or obstacles, and at the time of death may I recognize the profound clear light. May I be liberated from the precipitous path of the bardo. May all undertakings of body, speech, and mind always be of benefit to others, and from now on may all adverse conditions be transformed into the supreme path of Buddhahood. Even with all effort, it is difficult to free myself. Through the ship of your great compassion, O Protector, may I and all sentient beings who are without protection arrive in the land of liberation. May everyone, whether they respect me, condemn, or denigrate me, exhaust their negativities and mental afflictions and renounce the stream of samsaric existence. Then later, even by the mere mention of my name, may all wishes of sentient beings be completely fulfilled. And in all pure realms which abound in the 10 directions, may clouds of offerings rain down. By this virtue, may all beings be perfectly liberated from all realms of samsaric existence. Attaining the two sublime wisdoms, may the two benefits be spontaneously accomplished. Now to page 17. Sorry, 14. The Zum Zongi Damjengi O Kuji Dani Pelden Lama Dambala Sewa Des Dalla Wanguru Jinje Labdun Zen Zablamgi Tobai Kebarachen Julai Kewara Jinge Labdus Kada Nelo Ke Dawa Dombara Jinge Labdus Lundu Naji Yeshe Tarjim Bara Jinge Labdus. I fervently supplicate to the glorious sacred Lama, the essence of all of the Buddhas of the three times, the embodiment of the four kayas. I pray that you grant me blessings and empowerments. I pray that you bless me so that the extraordinary realization of the profound path arises in me. I pray that you bless me to realize the view of the primordial purity of the abiding nature. I pray that you bless me to perfect the wisdom of the four visions of spontaneous presence. I fervently supplicate to the glorious sacred Lama, the essence of all of the Buddhas of the three times, the embodiment of the four kayas. I pray that you grant me blessings and empowerments. I pray that you bless me so that the extraordinary realization of the profound path arises in me. I pray that you bless me to realize the view of the primordial purity of the abiding nature. I pray that you bless me to perfect the wisdom of the four visions of spontaneous presence. Okay, once again, please bring forth your motivation of the vast aspiration of the Bodhisattva, that is to aim toward all sentient beings with great compassion, to free them from the cause and the resultant suffering, and aiming toward sentient beings through wisdom to establish them all to the state of perfect and complete precious Buddhahood. And to do so, I will engage in the practice of the preliminaries of the heart essence of the vast expanse, and then train myself in the 100-day mind training retreat. Okay, now page 17 finally. Now I am free from the hell, preta, or animal realms. Long living God, born in a barbaric land, or being a wrong view holder, born in a period when Buddha has not appeared, or being mentally dumb, I have obtained freedom from these 8 unfree states. Born a human being with all my senses intact, and in the center land, with a lifestyle not harmful or wrong, and with faith in the Buddha's teachings, these 5 personal endowments are complete. A Buddha has appeared, has taught the Dharma, it is existing, I follow it, and a sublime teacher has accepted me. I have thus the 5 circumstantial endowments. Although I am in a position where I have every one of them, once this life so fraught with uncertainty is relinquished, I will go on to yet another realm of existence. O Guru Rinpoche, think of me, turn my mind towards the Dharma. Omniscient Lord, keep me from straying onto a wrong or inferior path. O kind Lama, you who are not separate from them, think of me. If I do not use the opportunity this present freedom offers, I will not find such a basis for attaining liberation later on. Once the merit that provided this happy existence is exhausted, I will wander after death as an unfortunate being in the miserable realms. Not knowing virtue from non-virtue, I'll never hear a word of Dharma, nor meet a spiritual teacher, a terrible disaster. If we reflect on the numbers and kinds of sentient beings, we understand just how slim is the chance of gaining a human body. When we see even human beings devoid of Dharma engaging in negativity, we realize those who act according to Dharma are just like the daytime star. O Guru Rinpoche, think of me, turn my mind towards the Dharma. Omniscient Lord, keep me from straying onto wrong or inferior paths. O kind Lama, you who are not separate from them, think of me. Even though it is like reaching a jewel island, attaining this human body, a fickle and impetuous mind in such a promising basis makes it an unsuitable support for attaining liberation, especially when possessed by negative influences or when the 5 poisons raging inside, or when negative karma befalls me or I am distracted by laziness, or when a slave under someone else's control or turning to Dharma simply out of insecurity or fear, or merely pretending to practice, or when deluded and stupid. These are the 8 intrusive circumstances that make Dharma impossible. When these come upon me opposing my Dharma practice, O Guru Rinpoche, think of me, turn my mind towards the Dharma. Omniscient Lord, keep me from straying onto wrong or inferior paths. O kind Lama, you who are not separate from them, think of me. Lacking both reversion and the joy of devotion, caught in the bond of desire and cravings, or with crude degenerate behavior, never holding back from negative, harmful actions, and engaging in the 5 inexpiable acts. With vows completely broken and samaya torn to shreds. These are the 8 propensities where mind is cut off from the Dharma. When these come upon me opposing my Dharma practice, O Guru Rinpoche, think of me, turn my mind towards the Dharma. Omniscient Lord, keep me from straying onto wrong or inferior paths. O kind Lama, you who are not separate from them, think of me. At this moment, I am not inflicted by sickness or pain, nor am I a slave or such under another's control. So now, when I have this perfect, auspicious quality of total independence, if I waste the freedom of this human life through my own indolence, not to mention parting from my companions, possessions, relatives, and loved ones, even this body that I hold so dear will be carried out alone from its bed to some desolate spot, to be torn to pieces by foxes, vultures, and dogs. Then in the bardo there will be even greater terror. O Guru Rinpoche, think of me, turn my mind towards the Dharma. Omniscient Lord, keep me from straying onto wrong or inferior paths. O kind Lama, you who are not separate from them, think of me. The results of virtuous and non-virtuous actions will follow accordingly, especially if I am born in the hell realms. On the ground of burning iron, my head and body will be hacked with weapons. I will be ripped apart with saws and crushed with red-hot hammers. Trapped in a doorless iron cell, screaming out loud, I will be impaled on red-hot spikes, boiled in molten lava, and burned in the fire of intense heat in these 8 classifications of the hot hells. On the crests of snow mountains, on precipices of ice, terrifying places engulfed by squalls and blizzards of snow, my tender body, lashed by freezing winds, will break out in blisters, bursting open into festering sores. In a ceaseless wail of agonized screams and suffering difficult to even think about, like a sick person at death whose strength is completely gone, I'll let out deep gasps and groans, my teeth clenched, my skin cracking open, and my exposed raw flesh will split deeper and will split yet again in this 8 classification of the cold hells. Similarly, my feet will be sliced into ribbon on the plane of razors. In the forest of swords, my body will be gashed and chopped. I'll sink in the swamp of petrifying corpses and the pit of hot embers, tormenting in the changing hell, in the hell neighboring the ultimate torment. Born indoors, pillars, fireplaces, ropes, and the like, always made use of and exploited in the ephemeral hells. When thoughts of intense hatred and aggression arise, which are the causes of being born in any of the 18 hells, O Guru Rinpoche, think of me, turn my mind towards the Dharma. Omniscient Lord, keep me from straying onto wrong or inferior paths. O kind Lama, you who are not separate from them, think of me. Likewise, in the grim and destitute realm, where the words food, drinks, or comfort have never been heard, the pretas find nothing to eat or drink for months and years on end. Their bodies are emaciated and they lack even the strength to stand. They suffer from 3 different kinds of obscurations. The reason for being born in such a birth is greed, in constant dread of being killed and eaten by one another, exploited and worked until exhaustion, bewildered as what to do or not to do. Animals are oppressed by limitless suffering, the seed of which is stubborn stupidity. When I wander into this darkness, O Guru Rinpoche, think of me, turn my mind towards the Dharma. Omniscient Lord, keep me from straying onto wrong or inferior paths. O kind Lama, you who are not separate from them, think of me. Though I have entered the path of the Dharma, I haven't put a stop to my mistaken behavior. Though I have entered the door of the Mahayana, I am devoid of any benefiting thought for others. Though I have received the 4 empowerments, I do not practice the generation and completion stages of meditation. O Lama, free me from straying from the path. Though I have not realized the view, I act as if I were crazed. Though distracted in my meditation, I boast about my understanding. Though my actions are at fault, I do not reflect upon my mistakes. O Lama, free me from becoming such a jaded practitioner. Though I may die tomorrow, I am full of craving for home, clothes, and possessions. Though my youth has passed, I lack revulsion and renunciation. Though I've heard only a few Dharma teachings, I arrogantly presume that I have qualities. O Lama, free me from such ignorance. Though headed toward disaster, I am preoccupied in distraction, roaming the world. Though I stay in solitary retreats, my basic character remains as hard as wood. Though I speak of morality, I will not abandon my attachment and aversion. O Lama, free me from the eight worldly concerns. Quickly rouse me from this deep sleep of ignorance. Quickly free me from this dungeon. Okay, now visualize the refuge field in front. I'm in the day. Excuse me. Kunjo sumngen deshe tsawa sum salon tele ranjen jancho sim ngo ranjen toje kel korala jancho nimbo bando chanson che and mind training yatsana kunjo sumngen deshe tsawa sum salon tele ranjen jancho sim ngo ranjen toje kel korala 장춘 nimbo bado 장순 che kunjo sumnyen deshe zawan sum salon tele ranjen jancho sem ngo ranjen toje kel korola 장춘 nimbo bado 장순 che kunjo sumnyen deshe zawan sum salon tele ranjen jancho sem O ranjen tuje kya korla, chanchuni bo bandu chansun chi. In the actual three jewels, the three root sugatas, in bodhicitta, the nature of channel wind and essence, and in the mandala of essence, nature and compassion, I take refuge until attaining the heart of Buddhahood. In the actual three jewels, the three root sugatas, in bodhicitta, the nature of channel wind and essence, and in the mandala of essence, nature and compassion, I take refuge until attaining the heart of Buddhahood. In the actual three jewels, the three root sugatas, in bodhicitta, the nature of channel wind and essence, and in the mandala of essence, nature and compassion, I take refuge until attaining the heart of Buddhahood. Okay, now in the presence of the refuge assembly, we cultivate on small bodhicitta. We say bodhicitta, but what we do is, as we have already cultivated, and one of the practices that we need to learn during the mind training is to revive our bodhisattva vow. And that we'll learn later on. So this is to when we say cultivate, it's not like today we're cultivating anew. We cultivated bodhicitta long ago. So once again, we revive any breakages or any vows that we have diminished or like that. So in the presence of the refuge field assembly, once we commit ourselves to uphold the bodhisattva precept. O nazo nawa chunde zindre ge korwa logo jodo chambendo rang rewe se ying su ngel se chen seme je yeng hane sem kendo Ho na so na wa chun de zin re ke. Korwa lu go jo do cham be do. Rang re we se yin so ngel se che. Se me je yen an ne sem ke do. Ho na so na wa chun de zin re ke. Korwa lu go jo do cham be do. Rang re we se yin so ngel se che. Se me je yen an ne sem ke do. Oh, the mesmerizing display of mirrored appearances, like a mirage of the moon in water, beings grasping it as real wonder continuously in samsara. To bring them to rest in the space of luminous intrinsic awareness, I generate bodhicitta through the four immeasurables. Oh, the mesmerizing display of mirrored appearances, like a mirage of the moon in water, beings grasping it as real wander continuously in samsara. To bring them to rest in the space of luminous intrinsic awareness, I generate bodhicitta through the four immeasurables. Oh, the mesmerizing display of mirrored appearances, like a mirage of the moon in water, beings grasping it as real wander continuously in samsara. To bring them to rest in the space of luminous intrinsic awareness, I generate bodhicitta through the four immeasurables. Then finally, all sentient beings dissolve into the refuge field, and the refuge field dissolves into Guru Rinpoche in the center, and Guru Rinpoche further dissolves into basic space. Then you rest in basic space for a while. Okay, now Bodhisattva, page 43. Ah, in my ordinary form, above the crown of my head, on a white lotus in the center of a mundus seed, is the syllable Hung which becomes the Lama Vajrasattva, brilliantly white with complete Sambhogakaya adornments. Holding Vajra and bell, he embraces his consort Dorje Nirmal. I take refuge in you and pray that you purify all of my negativity. With deepest regret, I acknowledge and confess them from now until even if my life is at stake. In your heart, upon the full moon, is the syllable Hung encircled by the mantra. Reciting the mantra invokes your wisdom mind, and from the point of union of Yab and Yum's blissful play, clouds of bodhicitta nectar flow down like drops of camphor. By means of these, for me and all sentient beings of the three realms, may our negative karma and destructive emotions, the causes of suffering, illnesses, harmful influences, negativities, and obscurations, along with faults, downfalls, and defilements due to breakages of samaya, be purified completely until not a single one remains. Om Banzar Sato Samaya Mano Palaya Banzar Sato Teno Patishta Drido Memo Sudokayo Memo Subokaya. Alla Rakuma Bawa Sarva Siddhi Praya Sasarva Karma Sut Zidam Shirim Kurum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Banzar Mamemanza Banzar Bhava Mahasam Sato Om Banzar Sato Samaya Mano Palaya Banzar Sato Teno Patishta Drido Memo Sudokayam me bhava, subokayam me bhava, anurato me bhava, sarva siddhi me. Sarva karma sutta me citam shiriyam kuru hum, ha 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 hum, bhagavan, sarva tata gata vajrama me man. Vajra bhava maha samaya sato, om vajra sato samaya mano palaya, vajra sattva teno. Tirsta dhrudo me bhava, sudokayam me bhava, subokayam me bhava. Anurakto me bhava sarva siddhi me prayasa sarva karma sutta me citam shriam kuru hum ha 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 hum bhagava sarva tata gata vajrama me manza vajri bhava maha samaya sato ahum pe. O protector, in my ignorance and delusion, I have gone against and impaired my samayas. Lama protector, be my refuge, chief of all the mandalas, Vajra holder, embodiment of great compassion, chief of all beings, in you I take refuge. I confess all broken and branch root, broken root and branch samayas of body, speech, and mind. I pray that you cleanse and purify all my accumulated negativities, obscurations, faults, downfalls, and defilements. Vajrasattva is pleased and smilingly says, Noble child, all your negative actions, obscurations, faults, and downfalls are purified. Granting his approval, he melts in delight, and by dissolving into me, I become Vajrasattva, appearing yet empty like a reflection in a mirror. At my heart is the syllable Hum, around which the four brilliantly radiant syllables emanate rays of light, whereby the three worlds, the whole universe, and the beings within it attain Buddhahood together as the Buddha feels and the Buddhas of the five families of Vajrasattva. Om Vajrasattva, 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 Om Vajrasattva. Om Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva. Om Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva. 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 Om Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva. 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 Om Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva. Om Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva. Om Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva. Om Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva. Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva. Om Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva. Om Vajrasattva, Om Vajrasattva. Then Vajra Sattva dissolves into Om and Om into Vajra, Vajra into Sa, Sa into Ta, Ta into Hung, and the Hung dissolves like that. And then finally, tracelessly. The six syllables in the heart are very small. It's not like big, thick, metallic, like embossed, those kind of thing. It's just radiant syllables and very tiny, painted, like if you were to say painted, it's like by one stroke of a brush, I mean, one hair brush, like that. And then, so Om is in the east, Bajra is in the south, Ta is in the west, Sa is in the west, Ta is in the north. So from the east, as it circles this way, clockwise, Om dissolves into Bajra, Bajra into Sa, Sa into Ta, Ta into Hung, sits circle in the heart, and then Hung. Usually, in some tradition, the Hung has 5 different colors like that, but here we can just visualize white Hung is okay, like that. And then Hung dissolves upward like that, and this dissolves in tracelessly into space, and then you rest in basic space, and that's the most absolute confession. So you can rest in that state for a while. Page 53, Mandala friends. Once again, visualizing the refuge field in the sky in front. And we make the mandala fit. Om Ahum, the billion pure realms of the 3,000-fold world system, filled with the 7 precious gems and the wealth of gods and humans. Together with my body and possessions, I offer them totally. May I attain the dominion of the universal ruler of Dharma. The Kanishta pure ram densely arrayed with great bliss. The mandalas of the 5 certainties of the Buddha families, along with this inconceivable vast cloud of offering of every variety of sense pleasure, I offer. May I emanate in the Sambhoga Kayam Buddha field. The world of appearance and possibilities, perfectly pure, is the youthful waste body, ornamented by unceasing great compassion, the display of Dharmata. The perfect and pure realm of indivisible wisdom bodies I offer. May I manifest in the pure realm of Dharma Kaya. The earth's surface sprinkled with perfumed water and strewn with flowers, and adorned with Mount Sumeru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon, is visualized as the Buddha field I offer. May all beings enjoy in the pure realm of perfect purity. Tram Guru Ratna Mandala Puja Mega Samud Saparana Samaye Aho. Saje Pejo Joje Mento Tram Raja Lingshe Nide Gimbante Sange Shindo Mikte Pulwai Drogun Namda Shinglai Chemparasho Tram Guru Radna Mandala Puja Mega Samudra Saparana Samaye By casting away all attachment to this dearly cherished body, the Devaputra Mara is destroyed. My consciousness ejects into space through the top of my crown and transforms into tremor, destroying the Mara, the Lord of Death. My right hand holding a hook knife symbolizing vanquishing the Mara of mental afflictions, slices the top of the corpse's skull, destroying the Mara of the aggregates. My left hand holds a skull cup, the aspect of activity, and places it on a hearth of 3 human skulls, representing the three eyes. Inside the vessel, the corpse, now an offering filling the 3004 world system. The blazing R syllable melts the hung nectar, and the offerings are purified and multiplied and transformed by the power of the three syllables. Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Ahum. Om Ahum, 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 Ahum. Om Ahum, Ahum, Ahum. A couple of chunks comes out of that. By my offering to guests above, the sublime unconditioned wisdom mind of the root and lineage lamas and the idams are fulfilled. Merit and wisdom are accumulated. The supreme and ordinary siddhis are attained. By my offering to the guests of samsara below, they are satisfied and karmic debts are repaid. In particular, the malicious ones and negative forces are satisfied. All illnesses, destructive influences, and obstacles are pacified, dissolving into space. Harmful condition and clinging to self are destroyed into dust. Finally, offering, offerer, and guest dissolve uncontrived into the original nature of Dzogpa Chenpo. Ah. Okay. Now, Guru Yoga. Guru Yoga, the difference between the Guru Yoga and the refuge is it's mentioned that during Guru Yoga, during refuge, this is how we visualize as we have in the picture that the lamas are, the lineage lamas are one, uh, like the previous lamas are one above the other, like that. But during Guru Yoga, it's like in a marketplace. Everybody surrounded in a big assembly. They're not like one above another. They're like in a big mass gathering, like in one, um, like in a big mass cloud like that. Not one above the other. It's just like in a big assembly hall like that. So this is how you visualize. And of course, and our own fundamental nature as a Vajra yogini, very important to remember that. So, and it's mentioned that if you don't visualize ourselves as Vajra yogini, there is no vessel to contain the blessing of the Guru. So think like that, and then we do Guru Yoga, page 65. Emaho. My own perception is the spontaneously perfect, all-encompassing purum, arrayed perfectly as the glorious copper-colored mountain. In the center, I am Vajra Yogini with one face and two hands, brilliantly red and holding a hook knife and skull cup. My 2 feet are in advancing pose, my 3 eyes gazing into the sky. Above the crown of my head on 100,000 petal lotus, sun and moon seed, inseparable from my own root lama, the embodiment of all sources of refuge, appears the Nirmana Kaya lake-born Vajra. His body glows with youth, white with a tinge of red. He wears a gown, monastic shawl, cloak, and robe, with one face, 2 hands, and seated in a majestic posture. This gown is like Guru Rinpoche is wearing inside. Gown is like a bathing robe, that's like the Bodhisattva's garment, and it's blue in color, and then it's like inside. Then on top of that one is the cloak. The cloak is more just like, that doesn't have any sleeve. It's more like that. It's on top like that. Then outside of that one is the monastic shawl that Buddha Shakyamuni or the fully ordained monks wear. The probation monks and so forth, they don't get that one. The fully ordained monks get what's called namjar. It has box. It's like pleated or boxed. That one. So that's how you visualize. So three represents Bodhisattva, individual liberation vow, and secret tantra like that. With one face, two hands, and seated in a majestic posture. In his right hand, he holds a vajra. In his left, a skull cup containing the vase of immortality. And on his head, he wears a five-petal lotus crown. In the crook of his left elbow, he holds the supreme consort of bliss and emptiness, concealed as a three-pronged khatvanga. He presides amidst a shimmering aura of rays and rings of rainbow light. All around him, enveloped in a beautiful lattice of white, blue, yellow, red, and green light, are the 25 disciples, king and subjects, panditas and siddhas of India and Tibet, Rigzins and Idam deities, Dakinis, Dharmapalas, and protectors, those who keep the Samaya, all gathered like billowing clouds, vividly and distinctly visualized in the great equanimity of clarity and emptiness. Om gen yu gen no jan sam pe ma ge san dong bo la ya zen cho gen on drum ne pe ma ju ne she so ra kondo kandro mambe koro ki ge je so da chu chi jingen lo che she so sen koro pe ma sin de ho Ugen yugen nobjan tsam pema gesa dongpo la yatsen chogen ngodrum ne pema june shesu dra kordu kandro mambe kor kege jesu da druche jingen labche shaksu sen guru pema sindi hong Ugen yugen nobjan sam pema gesa dongpo la ya zen chogen ngodro ne pema jone shesu dra kordo kandro mampe kor kenge jesu da drupche jingen lobche shesu se guru pema se de It's mentioned in the Guru Yoga that if you have fervent devotion to your Lama, like unshakable, undaunted devotion, that irreversible faith and devotion, that your faith can never decline or can never waver, then it's okay to visualize your Lama in the Lama ordinary form. Otherwise, then we need to transform the image of the Lama. So the essence is the Lama, but aspect appearing in Legman Raj Raguru like that. So today is today's full moon, so like that. And then also in the Guru Yoga, it is mentioned like there are many stories, accounts like the lamas when they empower, or there is the case in Marpa when Naropa through his blessings emanated chakra sambhara in the chakra sambhara mandala in the sky, and then now asked Marpa, you can now prostrate, then either to me or to the mandala. Then Marpa thought, well, I always see my Lama, but I've never seen the chakra sambhara mandala, so I should render prostrations homage first to the mandala. And as he prostrates to the mandala, the Lama dissolved the mandala into his heart or into his wisdom, being like that. So, like that, we need to realize that all manifestations, all mandalas are the manifestations of one's Lama, like that. So, as we mentioned a few days ago, that when we do Guru Yoga, we need to always remember these five understanding. So, through these five knowing or these five ways of understanding, why we need to supplicate to the Lama, that's we engage in Guru Yoga. And this is the most swiftest way. There's no other path that is as swift as blossoming our innately present Buddhahood. It's our innate present wisdom, innately present. It's called innately abiding primordial wisdom. And when we realize that one, that is what is called awakening or Buddhahood. So there's nothing else, nothing transforming external or something else. It is awakening one's own innately present primordial wisdom. And to do so, then Guru Yoga is the key to that. Okay, so then in that way, then we offer the seven branches. Page 71. Equal to the number of atoms in the universe, I multiply my body and offer prostrations. Through the power of samadhi, both real offerings and those mentally emanated, all appearances and possibilities are presented as the gesture offering. All non-virtuous karma of my body, speech, and mind are confessed in the luminous state of Dharmakaya. I rejoice in the accumulation of all virtue contained within the true truth. For the three types of beings to be tamed, I request you to turn the wheel of Dharma of the three yanas. Until samsara is emptied, I pray that you remain without passing into nirvana. All roots of virtue accumulated in the three times, I dedicate as the cause for attaining supreme Buddhahood. Okay, back to page 71. Free, equal to the number of atoms in the universe, I multiply my body and offer prostrations. Through the power of samadhi, both real offerings and those mentally emanated, all appearances and possibilities are presented as a gesture offering. All non-virtuous karma of my body, speech, and mind are confessed in the luminous state of Dharmakaya. I rejoice in the accumulation of all virtue contained within the true truths. For the three types of beings to be tamed, I request you to turn the wheel of Dharma of the three yanas. Until samsara is emptied, I pray that you remain without passing into nirvana. All the roots of virtue accumulated in the three times, I dedicate as the cause for attaining supreme Buddhahood. Again, back to page 71. Free, equal to the number of atoms in the universe, I multiply my body and offer prostrations. Through the power of samadhi, both real offerings and those mentally emanated, all appearances and possibilities are presented as the gesture offering. All non-virtuous karma of my body, speech, and mind are confessed in the luminous state of Dharmakaya. I rejoice in the accumulation of all virtue contained within the true truths. For the three types of beings to be tamed, I request you to turn the wheel of Dharma of the three yanas. Until samsara is emptied, I pray that you remain without passing into nirvana. All the roots of virtue accumulated in the three times, I dedicate as a cause for attaining supreme Buddhahood. Page 74. O Guru Rinpoche, precious Lama, you are the glorious embodiment of the compassion and blessings of all the Buddhas, the only protector of all sentient beings. My body, wealth, lungs, heart, and chest, I offer to you without hesitation. From now until I attain Buddhahood, in happiness or sorrow, in circumstances good or bad, in situations high or low, great precious Lama, lotus born, think of me. I have no one else to turn to. The beings of these degenerate times are sinking in the swamp of unbearable suffering. Protect us from all of these, O great Guru. Grant us the four empowerments, O blessed one. Deepen our realization, O compassionate one. Purify the two obscurations, O powerful one. Page 89. When my life is at its end, my perception, the glorious colored mountain, the pure M of Maya, indivisible from Nirmanakaya's pure M, and my body Vajra Yogini is transformed into a radiant, brilliant sphere of light. Merging inseparably with Jits and Pema June, I attain Buddhahood. Then from the display of vast primordial wisdom, the miraculous manifestation of bliss and emptiness, for every single being in the three realms, let me appear as their supreme guide. Jits and Pema, grant this so I pray. I pray to you from the bottom of my heart. These are not just empty words. I pray that you grant your blessings from the expanse of your wisdom mind and cause all my aspirations to be fulfilled. Om Mahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Hum Om Mahum Benza Om Mahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Mahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Mahum Benza Om Mahum Benza Om Mahum Benza Om Mahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Mahum Benza Guru Pema Om Mahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi 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 Om Mahum Om Mahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Mahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Mahum Om Mahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi 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 Om Mahum Benza Om Mahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi 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 Om Mahum Benza Om Mahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Mahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Mahum Om Mahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Mahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Oma hum benzo guru bema suni 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 oma hum benzo oma hum benzo guru bema suni oma hum benzo bema suni oma Oma hum benzo guru bema suni 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 oma Oma hum benzo guru bema suni 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 oma hum benzo Oma hum benzo guru bema suni oma hum benzo guru bema suni oma Oma hum benzo guru bema suni 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 oma hum benzo guru Oma hum benzo guru bema suni oma hum benzo guru bema suni oma hum benzo guru Oma hum benzo guru bema suni 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 oma hum Oma hum benzo guru bema suni oma hum benzo guru bema suni oma hum benzo Oma hum benzo guru bema suni 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 oma Oma hum benzo guru bema suni 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 oma Oma hum benzo guru bema suni 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 Mahum 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 benzo guru bema suni. Go to page 77. Mahum benzo guru bema suni mahum benzo guru bema suni. Page 77. Oma hum benzo guru bema suni 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 om Yamahu. From within the pure I'm free from falling into limitations and extremes. The primordial Buddha Dharmakaya Kunto Sangho. Vajra Sattva, the Sambhoga Kaya manifesting display like the moon in water. And Garabdoje, perfect with the marks of Nirvana Kaya. To you I pray, please grant blessings and empowerments. Shri Singha, treasury of the ultimate Dharma. Jamboshan and universal monarch of the nine yanas. Janana Sutra, the great Pandita Vimala Mitra. To you I pray, please show the path of liberation. Pema Jungne, sole ornament of the world. The Supreme Wisdom Heart disciples, King Trisong Detsen, Consortia Shitsogil, and Retinue Varojana. Venerable Longchen Ba, who revealed the symbols of an ocean of wisdom mind treasures. Jigme Pa, entrusted with the transmission of the space treasury of the Dakinis. To you I pray, please grant liberation and fruition. Todrup Chinle was a Jigme Galvin Yugo, Patu Rinpoche, Jamyan Kenze Wangpo, Natso Rangro, Kenze Choki Lodre, Kenze Yezel, and the incomparably kind Root Lama. To you I pray, please show the original face of my true nature. With renunciation being disgusted with cyclic existence, may I meaningfully depend upon my Vajranama as though he were my eyes. Following his instructions to the letter and taking to heart the profound practices he gives, and applying them with constant diligence, not just now and then, may the blessings of his realized wisdom mind be transferred into my own. All appearances and possibilities, samsara and nirvana, are primordially the Kanishta pure, which is the result of purifying, ripening, and perfecting of deities, mantra, and dharmakaya. This is Dzogpa Shambho, free of any action and effort of abandoning and adopting. Rigpa's dynamic radiance, which is beyond conceptual analysis and dualistic experience. May I see the actual unclad Dharmata. The conceptual characteristics perfectly liberated are the encompassing sphere of rainbows and light. The experience of Kaya's and Tigles supremely blossoming and achieving the full measure of Rigpa's power, the pure realms of Sambhoga Kaya, and attaining Buddhahood in the great consummate suchness of phenomena beyond concepts. May I accomplish the everlasting dominion of the youthful base body. If I am unable to experience the realization of Ati Yoga, and this physical body is not liberated into the pure expanse, then when the formative constituents of this life fall apart, may the luminosity of death arise as the primordially pure Dharmakaya. May the appearances of the Bardo be liberated into Sambhogakaya, perfecting the power of the path of Treksha and Tegal. May I be liberated like a child returning to its mother's lap. In the great secret luminosity, the summit of the supreme vehicle, Buddha is nowhere sought but in the face of Dharmakaya. If I am not liberated into the manifested primordial ground, then relying on the supreme path of the five teachings on Buddhahood without meditation, may I be born in the five natural pure realms of Nirmana Kayas, especially in the palace of lotus light pure realm, then in the presence of the Lord of Ugen, the supreme sovereign of the ocean of Vidyadharas, in the place where there is the joyous celebration of the teachings of the supreme secret mantra. Let me be born as a supreme air and be liberated. May I become the garden of limitless beings. Through the blessings of the ocean of the victorious Rixins, through the inconceivable truth of the Dharma Dhatu, through this freedom and endowed human body, training in purifying, ripening, and perfecting, manifest the interdependence and attain Buddhahood. So, as you wholeheartedly, sincerely supplicate, just as whatever that we read, not just like dry words, but intending from the bottom of our hearts, when we do that, then that triggers Guru Rinpoche's blessings or our Lama's blessings, and thereby then we receive the four empowerments like that. From the letter Om, radiant like a crystal at the Lama's forehead, rays of light stream forth and enter my forehead, purifying negative actions of the body and obscurations of the channels. The blessing of Vajra body is infused. The vase empowerment is received, and I become a receptive vessel for the generation stage. The seed of the completely matured Rigzin is sown, and the fortune to attain the state of Nirvana Kai is established within my mind. From the letter R, blazing like a ruby at the Lama's throat, rays of light stream forth and enter my throat, purifying negative actions of the speech and obscurations of the inner wind. The blessing of Vajra speech is infused. The secret empowerment is received, and I become a receptive vessel for the practice of mantra recitation. The seed of the Rigzin with power over life is sown, and the fortune to attain the state of Sambhogakaya is established within my mind. From the sky-colored letter hung at the Lama's heart, rays of light stream forth and enter my heart, purifying negative actions of the mind and obscurations of the essence. The blessing of Vajra mind is infused. The wisdom empowerment is received, and I become a receptive vessel for the Chandali practice of bliss and emptiness. The seed of the Mahamudra Rigzin is sown, and the fortune to attain the state of Dharmakaya is established within my mind. Once more from the letter hung at the Lama's heart, a second hung streaks out like a shooting star, merging inseparably with my mind, purifying the karma of the all-ground and conceptual obscurations. The blessing of Vajra wisdom is infused. The ultimate symbolizing word empowerment is received, and I become a receptive vessel for the Dzogwa chamber of original purity. The seed of the spontaneously accomplished Rigzin is sown, and the fortune to attain the state of Savabhavika Kaya, the final fruition, is established within my mind. Okay, now mind training. So please once again sit in a nice posture. Sit in a nice. So that's the posture of body, and then the posture of your speech or your energy is to expel the stale wind. So breathe in gently. Make sure the breath goes down to your navel, and then you force those two into your central channel, and then breathe out. One more time. Breathe out. Again, as you do that, there are visualizations they go along, and then also feeling that the wind enters into the center of your heart where there is Kundu Sangbo, male Yaben Yum. Okay, one more time. Okay, like that. And then your motivation, the state of your mind, is on page 116. Semchen Tamchen Dunga Juden Nidan Jalden Zombe Sange Gi Gopang Toparaja Deye Chendu Nye Del Joro Ne Barakawa Gombaragi. I shall meditate on the difficulty of finding the freedoms and advantages, so that all sentient beings can be freed from suffering and its causes and attain perfect Buddhahood. go to the green text, the green bordered insert. And today we can start from the page C. Page C. The green border text, page C. To Samanta Bhadra, Vajra Sattva, Garab Dorje, Shri Singha, Padmakara, and his 25 disciples, king and subjects. So Zul Nyuk Nyak, the 100 Tethans, and so forth. To all the lamas of the Karma and Dharma lineages, I supplicate. Although you possess the power recalling innate compassion, scripture learning, and realization, to that of the six ornaments and the two excellent ones who adorn the world, you maintained a hidden discipline in holy forest hermitages, Longchen of the vast expanse of being in which samsara and nirvana are perfected and complete as dharmakaya. At the feet of Venerable Jimmy I supplicate you. The omniscient of all knowing, the treasure source of compassion for sentient beings, the further emanation of Jimmy the treasury of wisdom mind treasure, a yogi of the vast expanse of utter lucidity, at the feet of Rigzen Jigme Ringpa, I supplicate. Lord Padmasambhava, omniscient throughout the three times, enthroned as the will-holding monarch, the sovereign of the profound treasuries, you emanated as Sangye further emanation in the secret manner. At the feet of Kunzan Shen Pentaye, Jigmetunlevaser, I supplicate. To the compassionate emanation of the noble Avalokeshwara, the supreme captain who guides sentient beings to the shore of liberation. Whoever is connected with him is the yogi of the vast expanse. To Jigme Gelven Yugu, I supplicate. To the emanation of Vimalamitra, blessed by Manjushri, the 13th incarnation of Prince Haje, the holder of the seven transmissions, the treasure revealer Pema Dongakling, to Jamyang Kenze Wangpo, I supplicate. To the one whose outer aspect is that of the Bodhisattva Shanti Deva, whose inner aspect is that of the Lord of Siddha Shawaripa, and whose secret aspect is that of Chenrezig, the noble Lord of the self-liberation of suffering, to Jigme Cheki Wangpo Paturumbache, I supplicate. You trained in supreme bodhicitta by caring for others more than yourself. You realize samsara and nirvana as non-dual by perfecting the generation and completion practice. You culminated the wisdom realization of the consummate phenomena of dharmakaya. Tembe Nima, at your feet I supplicate. Vajrasattva, the Lord Protector, embodiment of the victorious ones of the three times, manifesting the magical wisdom dance as Vimala Mitra, is the inseparable wisdom holder Ngaki Wangpo. This is Longchen. Okay. Kembo Ngakchung, to you I supplicate, grant me the absolute wisdom realization. By the Supreme Lamas as a regent, you were empowered and prophesied to perform impartial benefit for others. A Dzogchen hidden yogi who abandoned everything. Sangye Dorje, at your feet I supplicate. And then a quick for empowerment once again. So just visualize Om Ah Hum, white Om, red Ah, blue Hum, and then one after another. And then fourth time simultaneously from all three inseparably, striking your body inseparably, and you receive the fourth empowerment. And then immediately you merge inseparably with the wisdom mind of the Guru. Okay, now back to your Ngondro text. (106). Tomorrow we'll have new version of all this collected one. So we'll have all in one text, so we don't have to go back and forth. So, and also it will be a little bit more orderly, so that we don't need to go up and down pages. Page 106. Dal joro dine shinto ne para kai ke boy dendro tomba jurpa la galte de lai pemba madro na chinne yanda jorpa ga la jor. These 4 lines are from Shantideva's Bodhisattva Charya. These 4 lines. With these freedoms and advantages so hard to find, a person can attain enlightenment. If one does not take advantage of them now, how will one so well obtain them in the future? So these 4 lines remind us about how difficult it is to obtain this fortunate human birth. And in this life, as in the thing, obtaining this fortunate human birth is like going to the jewel island. And then going to the jewel island, then we need to come back with the essence, the jewel. If you don't do that, then it's like coming back empty-handed from the jewel island. So therefore, the essence is to bring the jewel from the jewel island. Then if we don't use in this lifetime, then it's hard to tell if we would ever find such fortunate human birth or obtain such birth ever again. So thinking like that, then you do the mind training. Okay. Wow. We spend a lot of time talking. Okay. So just do the mind training, and then when you get that feeling, then immediately settle, and then don't wander in thoughts, just rest. That. Okay. Page 119. Dawai Tom Chan Ningbo Cheki Wu Che Goro Shou Chan Che Min Che Pe Yin Da Dan Da Dra Mum Be Sem Chen Nam Del Joro Ningbo Lembarai Jenge Lo. Although I want these freedoms, I am poor in Dharma, which is their essence. Although I've entered the Dharma, I am distracted doing other things. Bless me and all those foolish beings like me, that we may attain the very essence of the freedoms and advantages. Okay. Then now the refuge accumulation. Visualize the refuge tree in the sky in front. And then we and all motherly sentient beings along with us take refuge in this ninefold way. So here on page 114. Kunju sumgen de shen zawa sum zalung te le ranjin chanchu sem. O ranjin tuje kyo kor la chanchu ningbo bandu jansun che. Kunju sumgen de shen zawa sum zalung te le ranjin chanchu sem. O ranjin tuje kyo kor la chanchu ningbo bandu jansun che. Kunjo sumye deshe zawai sum zalung tile ranjin janju se. Ngo ranjin tuje kyokor la janju ningbo bandu jansun chi. In the actual three jewels, the three roots together as in bodhicitta, the nature of channel wind and essence, and in the mandala of essence, nature and compassion. I take refuge until attaining the heart of Buddha. In the actual three jewels, the three roots sugatas in bodhicitta, the nature of channel wind and essence, and in the mandala of essence, nature and compassion, I take refuge until attaining the heart of Buddhahood. In the actual three jewels, the three roots sugatas in bodhicitta, the nature of channel wind and essence, and in the mandala of essence, nature and compassion, I take refuge until attaining the heart of Buddhahood. Kunju zungin de jen zawan zum zalong de ranjin jancho sen wo ranjin to je ke wo la jancho ning bo ba de cha sa chen kunju zungin de she zang zalong de le ranjin jancho sen wo ranjin to je ke wo la jancho ning bo ba de cha sa che kunju zungin de she zang sun zalong de le ranjin Chanchu Nimbu Badu Chamsa Chikun Chosum Yedi Chezawan Sun Zalung Dile Ranjin Chanchu Sengo Ranjin Tuje Kekona Chanchu Nimbu Badu Chamsa Chikun Chosum Yedi Chezawan Sun Zalung Dile Ranjin Chanchu Sengo Ranjin Tuje Kekona Chanchu Nimbu Badu Chamsa Chikun Chosum Yedi Chezawan Sun Zalung Dile Ranjin Tuje Kekona Chanchu Nimbu Badu Chamsa Chikun Chosum Yedi Chezawan Sun Zalung Dile Ranjin Chanchu Sengo Ranjin Tuje Kekona Chanchu Nimbu Badu Chamsa Chikun Chosum Yedi Ranjin Chanchu Sengo Ranjin Tuje Gola Janjun Gomba Jobs Chicken Josung Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Johnson or Ranjan to Jake Gola Janjun Gomba the Jobs Chicken Josung Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Johnson or Ranjan to Jake. Janjun Gomba the Jobs Chicken Josung Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Johnson or Ranjan to Jake Gola Janjun Gomba the Johnson Chicken Josung Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan. Or Ranjan to Jake Gola Janjun Gomba the Jobs Chicken Josung Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Johnson or Ranjan to Jake. Janjunu Baba the Jansu Chicken Josung in Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Janjung or Ranjan to Jake Gola Janjunu Baba the Jansu Chicken Josung in Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Janjung or Ranjan to Jake. Janjunu Baba the Jansu Chicken Josung in Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Janjung or Ranjan to Jake Gola Janjunu Baba the Kunjosung in Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Janjung or Ranjan to Jake Gola Janjunu Baba the Jansu Chicken Josung in Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Janjung or Ranjan to Jake. Janjun Baba the Jansu Chicken Josung in Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Janjung or Ranjan to Jake Gola Janjunu Baba. Kunjosung in Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Janjung or Ranjan to Jake Gola Janjunu Baba the Jansu Chicken Josung in Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Janjung or Ranjan to Jake Gola Janjunu Baba the Kunjosung in Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Janjung or Ranjan to Jake Gola Janjunu Baba the Jansu Chicken Josung in Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Janjung or Ranjan. Janjun Baba the Jamsu Chicken Josung in Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Janjung or Ranjan to Jake Gola Janjunu Baba the Jansu Josung in Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Janjung or Ranjan to Jake Gola Janjunu Baba the Jansu Josung in Dishes on some salon to the Janjunu Baba the Jansu Josung in Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Janjung or Ranjan to Jake Gola Janjunu Baba the Jansu Josung in Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Janjung or Ranjan to Jake Gola Janjunu Baba the Jansu Josung in Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Janjung or Ranjan to Jake Gola Janjunu Baba the Kunjosung in Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Janjung or Ranjan to Jake Gola Janjunu Baba the Jansu Josung in Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Janjung or Ranjan to Jake Gola Janjunu Baba the Jansu Josung in Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan Orange to Chicola, Janjano, but the Joseph, Conjusum, the Shits, some salon to the Ranjan saying, Orange to Chicola, Janjano, but the Joseph. Conjusum, the Shits, some salon to the Ranjan saying, Orange to Chicola, Janjano, but the Joseph, Conjusum, the Shits, some salon to the Ranjan saying, Orange to Chicola, Janjano, but the Joseph, Conjusum, the Orange to Chicola, Janjano, but the Joseph, Conjusum, the Shits, some salon to the Ranjan saying, Orange to Chicola, Janjano, but the Joseph, Conjusum, the Shits, some salon to the Ranjan saying, Orange to Chicola, Janjano, but the Joseph, Conjusum, the Shits, some salon to the Ranjan saying, Orange to Chicola, Janjano, but the Dishes on some salon to the Ranjan saying, Orange to Chicola, Janjano, but the Joseph, Conjusum, the Shits, some salon to the Ranjan saying, Orange to Chicola, Janjano, but Conjusum, the Shits, on some salon to the Ranjan saying, Orange to Chicola, Janjano, but the Joseph, Conjusum, the Shits, on some salon to the Ranjan saying, Orange to Chicola, Janjano, but the Joseph, Conjusum, the Janjanu Bada Jomsen, Conjusung in the Jets on some Zalutran Johnson or Raja to Jugola, Janjanu Bada Jomsen, Conjusung in the Jets on some Zalutran Johnson or Raja to Jugola, Janjanu Bada Jomsen, Conjusung in the Jets on some Zalutran Johnson or Raja to Jugola, Janjanu Bada Jomsen, Conjusung in the Jets on some Zalutran Johnson or Raja to Jugola, Janjanu Conjusung in the Jets on some Zalutran Johnson or Raja to Jugola, Janjanu Bada Jomsen, Conjusung in the Jets on some Zalutran Johnson or Raja to Jugola, Janjanu Bada Jomsen, Conjusung in the Jets on some Zalutran Janjanu Bada Jomsen, Conjusung in the Jets on some Zalutran Johnson or Raja to Jugola, Janjanu Bada Jomsen, Conjusung in the Jets on some Zalutran Johnson or Raja to Jugola, Janjanu Bada Jomsen, Conjusung in the Jets on some Zalutran Johnson or Raja to Jugola. Janjanu Bada Jomsen, Conjusung in the Jets on some Zalutran Johnson or Raja to Jugola, Janjanu Bada Jomsen, Conjusung in the Jets on some Zalutran Johnson or Raja to Jugola, Janjanu Conjusung in the Jets on some Zalutran Johnson or Raja to Jugola, Janjanu Bada Jomsen, Conjusung in the Jets on some Zalutran Johnson or Raja to Jugola, Janjanu Conjusung in the Jets on some Zalutran Johnson or Raja to Jugola, Janjanu Bada Jomsen, Conjusung in the Jets on some Zalutran Johnson or Raja to Jugola, Janjanu Bada Jomsen. Conjusung in the Jets on some Zalutran Johnson or Raja to Jugola, Janjanu Bada Jomsen, Conjusung in the Jets on some Zalutran Johnson or Raja to Jugola, Janjanu Bada Jomsen, Conjusung in the Jets on some Zalutran Orange to Chicagola, Janjanu Bada Jomsen, Conjusung in the Jets on some Zalutran Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Janjanu Bada Jomsen, Conjusung in the Jets on some Zalutran Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shison, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment. Consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson. consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, consuming the Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson. Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson. Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson. consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson. Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment. consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola. Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam. Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, Orange to Chicagola, Judgment of the Jobson, consuming the Shazam, some Telegram Johnson, 띵샤데 건조성에 대해서 좀 장르들이랑 좀 생어라지 도지가 전전은 것도 좀 건조성에 대해서 좀 장르들이랑 좀 생어라지 도지가 그런 전전은 것도 건조성에 대해서 좀 장르들이랑 좀 생어라지 도지가 그런 전전은 것도 좀 건조성에 대해서 좀 장르들이랑 좀 생어라지 도지가 그런 전전은 것도 건조성에 대해서 좀 장르들이랑 좀 생어라지 도지가 그런 전전은 것도 좀 건조성에 대해서 좀 장르들이랑 좀 생어라지 도지가 그런 전전은 consumed some the Johnson water to go like Johnson, consumed the sauce, some the Johnson water to go like Johnson, but the Johnson consumed the sauce, some the Johnson water to go like Johnson, but the Johnson consumed the sauce, some the Ora to go like Johnson, but the Johnson consumed the sauce, some the Johnson water to go like Johnson, but the Johnson consumed the sauce, some the Johnson water to go like Johnson, but the Johnson consumed the sauce, some the Johnson water to Chanchudum by the Jobs, consuming the sauce, some of the Red Johnson, or to the Gola, Chanchudum by the Jobs, consuming the sauce, some of the Red Johnson, or to the Gola, Chanchudum by the Jobs, consuming the sauce, some of the Red Johnson. Chanchudum by the Jobs, consuming the sauce, some of the Red Johnson, or to the Gola, Chanchudum by the Jobs, consuming the sauce, some of the Red Johnson, or to the Gola, Chanchudum by the Jobs, consuming the sauce, some of the Red Johnson, or to the Gola, Chanchudum by the Jobs, consuming the sauce, some of the Red Johnson, or to the Gola, Chanchudum. Consume some Johnson or the Gola Johnson, consuming the sauce, some Johnson or the Gola Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming the sauce, some Johnson or the Gola Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming the sauce, some Johnson or the consuming the sauce, some Johnson or the Gola Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming the sauce, some Johnson or the Gola Johnson, consuming the sauce, some Johnson or the Gola Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming the sauce, some Johnson or the Gola Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming the sauce, some Johnson or the Gola Johnson. Some of the Johnson or the Gola Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming the sauce, some Johnson or the Gola Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming the sauce, some Johnson or the Gola Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming the sauce, some Johnson or the Gola Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming the sauce, some Johnson or consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson. Consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson. Consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson. Consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson. Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this. Johnson, the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson. Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming this some of the Johnson. Chantum Bada Johnson Consum de Sosum Samson Ron Johnson or Jagara Johnson of the Johnson Consum de Sosum Samson Ron Johnson or Jagara Johnson with the Johnson Consum de Sosum Samson Ron Johnson or Jagara Johnson with the Johnson Consum de Sosum Samson Ron Johnson or Jagara Johnson. Or Jagara Johnson with the Johnson Consum de Sosum Samson Ron Johnson or Jagara Johnson with the Johnson Consum de Sosum Samson Ron Johnson or Jagara Johnson with the Johnson Consum de Sosum Samson Ron Johnson or Jagara Johnson with the Johnson Consum de Sosum. Orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed the some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, but the Johnson consumed Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson. Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed some Johnson, orange the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed Ora the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed the some Johnson, or the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed the some Johnson, or the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed the some Johnson, or the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed the some Johnson, or the sugar Johnson. Consumed the Johnson, or the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed the some Johnson, or the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed the some Johnson, or the Johnson, Johnson, or the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed the some Johnson, or the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed the some Johnson, or the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed the some Johnson, or the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed the some Johnson. Johnson consumed this some Johnson, or the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed this some Johnson, or the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed this some Johnson, or the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed this some Johnson, or the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed this some Johnson, or consumed this some Johnson, or the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed this some Johnson, or the sugar Johnson, but the Johnson consumed this some Johnson, Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson control this or some Johnson or Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson control this or some Johnson or Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson control. Ora to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson control this or some Johnson or Johnson or Jigala Johnson with the Johnson control this or some Johnson or Johnson or Jigala Johnson with the Johnson control this or some Johnson or Johnson or Jigala Johnson with the Johnson control this or some Johnson or Johnson or Consum de some de ran Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson control this or some Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson control this or some Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson control this or some Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson control this or some Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson control this. Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Salazar and Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Salazar and Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Salazar and Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Salazar and Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Salazar and Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consumed. Ora to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consumed with this on some Salazar and Johnson or the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Johnson Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Salazar Johnson or to the consumed this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson which is the some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson which is the Johnson Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson consumed this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consumed this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Consum de Johnson Johnson or the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consum de Johnson Johnson or the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consum de Johnson or the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consum de Johnson or the Jigala Johnson Salazar Johnson or the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consum de Johnson Salazar Johnson or the Jigala Johnson consum de Johnson Salazar Johnson or the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consum de Johnson Salazar Johnson or the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consum de Consum de Johnson Salazar Johnson or the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consum de Johnson Salazar Johnson or the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consum de Johnson Salazar Johnson or the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consum de Johnson Salazar Johnson or the Jigala Johnson with the consum de Johnson Salazar Johnson or the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consum de Johnson Salazar Johnson or the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consum de Johnson Salazar Johnson or the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consum de or the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consum de Johnson Salazar Johnson or the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consum de Johnson Salazar Johnson or the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consum de Johnson Salazar Johnson or the Jigala Johnson with the Consuming this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consuming this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson to the some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consuming this on some Salazar Johnson with the Johnson consuming this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consuming this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consuming this on some Salazar Johnson or to the Jigala Johnson with the Johnson consuming this on some Salazar Johnson Jigala Jantamata Johnson, Conjusum in the Johnson, Solitary Johnson, or to the Jigala Jantamata. Conjusum in the Johnson, Solitary Johnson, or to the Jigala Jantamata Johnson, Conjusum in the Johnson, Solitary Johnson, or to the Jigala Jantamata. Conjusum in the Johnson, Solitary Johnson, or to the Jigala Jantamata Johnson, Conjusum in the Johnson, Solitary Johnson, or to the Jigala Jantamata, Conjusum in the Johnson, Solitary Johnson, or to the Jigala Jantamata. Ora judo jugala jande vada jante konjo samende san 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 dara jante ora judo jugala jante vada jante konjo samende san 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 dara jante ora judo jugala jante vada jante konjo samende san 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 dara jante ora judo jugala jante vada jante konjo samende san 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 dara jante ora judo jugala jante vada jante konjo samende san 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 dara jante ora judo jugala jante vada jante konjo samende san 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 Chanchana Vada Conjo Seven Days on Sana the Ran Johnson or Judicial Johnson with the Johnson Conjo 7 days on Sana the Ran Johnson or Judicial Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on Sana the Ran Johnson or Judicial Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on Sana the Ran Johnson or Judicial Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on Ora Judicial Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on Sana the Ran Johnson or Judicial Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on Sana the Ran Johnson or Judicial Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on Ora judo chiga janda vada janda konjo sugende sam sam sala de ran jam sem ora judo chiga janda vada jam konjo sugende sam sam sala de ran jam sem ora judo jam vada konjo sugende sam sam sala ora judo chiga janda vada jam konjo sugende sam sam sala de ran jam sem ora judo chiga janda vada konjo sugende sam sam sala de ran jam sem ora judo chiga janda vada jam konjo sugende sam sam sala de ran jam sem ora judo chiga janda vada jam konjo sugende sam sam sala de ran jam sem ora judo chiga janda vada jam konjo sugende sam sam sala Conjo seven days on some son of the Rana Johnson or Johnson Johnson with the Johnson Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Mora Zuga Johnson with the Johnson 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Johnson Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with some of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Johnson Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Johnson Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Johnson Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Johnson Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Johnson Conjo 7 days on Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Johnson Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Conjo 7 days Mora to Sugar Johnson with the Johnson Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Johnson Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Johnson Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Johnson Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Johnson Conjo 7 days on some son of the Rana Johnson or the Sugar Johnson with the Consumde son solo de la gente ora gente de banda gente consumde son solo de la gente ora gente consumde son solo de la gente ora consumde son solo de la gente consumde son solo de la gente ora gente banda gente consumde son solo de la gente ora consumde son solo de la gente ora consumde son solo de la gente ora consumde son solo de la Judgment Johnson consuming the Johnson Solitary Johnson or la Johnson with the Johnson consuming the Johnson Solitary Johnson or Johnson over the consuming the Johnson Solitary Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson consuming the Johnson Solitary Johnson or Johnson over the Johnson consuming the Johnson Solitary Johnson or Johnson over the Johnson consuming the Johnson Solitary Johnson or Johnson over the Johnson consuming the Johnson Solitary Johnson or Johnson Consumde some solo the run jump and more agent the yoga jump of the consuming some solo the run jump and more agent the yoga jump of the consuming some solo the run jump and more agent the yoga jump of the consuming some solo the run jump and more agent some the run jumps and more agent the yoga jump of the yoga consuming some solo the run jumps and more agent the yoga jump of the consuming some solo the run jumps and more agent the yoga jump of the consuming some solo the run jumps and more agent the yoga jump of the consuming some solo the run jumps and more agent the yoga jump consuming some solo the run jumps and more agent the yoga jump of the consuming some solo the run jumps and more agent the yoga jump of the consuming some solo the run jumps and more agent the yoga jump of the consuming some solo the run jumps and more agent the yoga jump of the consuming some solo the run jumps and more agent the yoga jump of the consuming some solo the run jumps and more agent the yoga jump of the consuming some consuming some solo the run jumps and more agent the yoga jump of the consuming some solo the run jumps and more agent the yoga jump of the consuming some solo the run jumps and more agent the yoga jump of the consuming some more agent the yoga jump of the consuming some solo the run jumps and more agent the yoga jump of the consuming some solo the run jumps and more agent the yoga jump of the consuming some solo the run consuming Ora the Jigger Johnson with the Johnson consuming the Johnson Solid Johnson or the Jungle Johnson with the Johnson consuming the Johnson Solid Johnson or the Johnson consume the Johnson Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the Johnson Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the Johnson Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the Johnson Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the Johnson Solitary Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the Johnson Solitary Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the Johnson Solitary Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the Johnson Solitary Mora to the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the Johnson Solitary Johnson or the Johnson consuming the Johnson Solitary Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the Johnson Solitary Johnson or the Johnson consuming the Johnson Solitary Johnson or the Johnson consuming the Johnson consuming the Johnson Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson with the Johnson Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson or Johnson Consuming the Johnson 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 or Johnson Johnson with the Johnson with the Johnson Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson with the Johnson Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson with the Johnson Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson with the Johnson more just gonna Johnson with the Johnson consuming the Johnson Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson consuming the Johnson Johnson or Johnson with the consuming the Johnson Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson consuming the Johnson Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson consuming the Johnson Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson consuming the Johnson Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson consuming the Johnson Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson consuming the Johnson Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson consuming the Johnson Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson consuming the Johnson Johnson or consume the Johnson Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson consuming the Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson consuming the Johnson Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson consuming the Johnson Johnson or Johnson Solidarity's Johnson or to the Chicago Johnson, conscious of the Johnson, Johnson or to the conscious of the Johnson, Johnson or to the Johnson with the conscious of the Johnson, Johnson or to Johnson, Johnson or to the Johnson with the conscious of the Johnson, Johnson or the Johnson with the conscious of the Johnson, Johnson or to the Johnson with the conscious of the Johnson or Consuming some Solid Johnson or Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or Johnson with the consuming the some more on the sugar Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or consuming the some Solid Johnson or consuming the some Solid Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the sugar Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the sugar Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the sugar consuming the some Solid Johnson or the sugar Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the sugar Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the sugar Johnson with the consuming the some Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the sugar Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the sugar Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the sugar Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the some Solid consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the consuming the some Solid more than the Johnson, but the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the consuming the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson with the some Solid Johnson or the Johnson with the Johnson consuming the some Solid Consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or on consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the consume this on some solid Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the consume this on some solid Johnson or consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson. Consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just Johnson, but Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the consume this on some solid Johnson or I just consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some Johnson or I just got Johnson. Consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I just got Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid more I think I Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I think I Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I think I Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or consume this on some solid Johnson or I think I Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I think I Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I think I Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I think I Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I think I Johnson, but the consume this on some solid Johnson or I think I Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I think I Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I think I Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I think I Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I think I Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I think I Johnson, but the Johnson consume this on some solid Johnson or I think I Johnson. Conscious this on some Solitary Johnson or Gola Johnson, but the Johnson, conscious of this on some Solitary Johnson or Gola Johnson, but the Johnson, conscious of this on some Solitary Johnson or Gola Johnson, but the Johnson, conscious of this on some Solitary Johnson. Johnson or Johnson, but the conscious of this on some Solitary Johnson or Gola Johnson, but the conscious of this on some Solitary Johnson or Gola Johnson, but the Johnson, conscious of this on some Solitary Johnson. Conscious days of some Solitary Johnson or Johnson, but the Johnson, conscious days of some Solitary Johnson or Gola Johnson, but the conscious days of some Solitary Johnson or Gola Johnson, but the conscious days of some Solitary Johnson or Gola Johnson. Consum des some Solitary Johnson or the Gola Johnson, but the conscious days of some Solitary Johnson or the Gola Johnson, but Johnson, conscious days of some Solitary Johnson or the Gola Johnson, but the conscious days of some Solitary Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming the Johnson, Johnson, or a Jagala Johnson, with the Johnson, consuming the Johnson, Johnson, or a Jagala Johnson, with the Johnson, consuming the Johnson, Johnson, or a Jagala Johnson, with the Johnson, consuming the Johnson. Consuming the Johnson, Johnson, or a Jagala Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming the Johnson, Johnson, or a Jagala Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming the Johnson, Johnson, or a Johnson, no mother Johnson, Johnson, the Johnson, the Johnson, or Johnson, no mother Johnson, the Johnson, or Rajan to Jagagola Johnson, no mother Johnson, Johnson, the Johnson, Johnson, or Rajan to Jagagola Johnson, no mother Johnson. Johnson, the Johnson, to Rajan Johnson, or Rajan to Jagagola Johnson, no mother Johnson, Johnson, the Johnson, to Rajan Johnson, or Rajan to Jagagola. Johnson, no mother Johnson, Johnson, the Johnson, to Rajan Johnson, or Rajan to Jagagola Johnson, no mother Johnson, Johnson, the Johnson, to Rajan Johnson, or Rajan to Jagagola Johnson, no mother. Consuming the Johnson, Johnson, or the Jagala Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming the Johnson, Johnson, or the Jagala Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming the Johnson, Johnson, or the Jagala Johnson. Consuming the Johnson, Johnson, or the Jagala Johnson, but the Johnson, consuming the Johnson, Johnson, or the Jagala Johnson, consuming the Johnson, Johnson, or the Jagala Johnson. Consume the Johnson, Johnson, or the Gala, Johnson, the Johnson, consume the Johnson, Johnson, or the Gala, Johnson, the Johnson, consume the Johnson, Johnson, or the Gala, Johnson, the Johnson, consume the Johnson, Johnson, or the Gala, Johnson. Consume the Johnson, Johnson, or the Gala, Johnson, but the Johnson, consume the Johnson, Johnson, or the Gala, Johnson, but the Johnson, consume the Johnson, Johnson, or the Gala, Johnson. Consume the Johnson, Johnson, or the Gala, Johnson, but the Johnson, consume the Johnson, Johnson, or the Gala, Johnson, but the Johnson. So like that. So you can go consume this Johnson, Johnson, or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consume this Johnson, Johnson, or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consume this Johnson, Johnson, or the Johnson, consume this Johnson, Johnson, or the Johnson, but the Johnson, consume this Johnson, Johnson, or the Johnson, consume this Johnson, Johnson, or the Johnson, or the Johnson. So like that, or consume the Johnson, Johnson, or Johnson, but the consume the Johnson, Johnson, or Johnson, but the Johnson, consume the Johnson, Johnson, or Johnson, consume the Johnson, Johnson, or Johnson, consume the Johnson, Johnson, or Johnson, but the Johnson, consume the Johnson, Johnson, or Johnson, but the Johnson. So whichever you can catch, you can do that one. Conjosum yende je zawan zom zalon de le ranjen jansu simo ranjen tu jenke hola jancho ningo bandu Conjosum yende je zawan zom zalon de le ranjen jansu simo ranjen tu jenke hola jancho ningo bandu jansu chi. Page 115. Gewa di nirdo da genjo sumbo drujurne drowa chikjama lupa de sala gembarasho. Through this merit of this practice, may I swiftly accomplish the three jewels and establish every sentient beings without exception on their level. Okay, page 91. Page 92. Page 92. From the heart center of the Lama, a beam of light, red and warm, suddenly appears. And with myself visualized as Dorjen El Jorma, it touches my heart, and I'm instantaneously transformed into a sphere of red light, which dissolves into Guru Rinpoche's heart, and I become inseparable with him in one day. Glorious, precious root Lama, dwelling on the lotus seat in my heart, care for me with your compassionate great kindness. Grant me the accomplishments of your body, speech, and mind. Toward the life and liberation of the glorious Lama, may wrong views not arise, not even for an instant. And through the devotion of seeing whatever he does as excellent, may the blessings of the Lama infuse my mind. In all of my lifetimes, may I never be separated from the perfect Lama. And experiencing the splendor of Dharma, may I perfect the qualities of the paths and bhumis, and swiftly attain the level of Vajradhara. Then once again, check how did your session go, and then any mistakes, once again, confess, and then make the commitment that in your next session that you'll try to do better. And then any good experience you had, then you can rejoice. And then or any merit that we have accumulated, let us all dedicate for the attainment of Buddhahood for all sentient beings. Just as the heroic Manjushri realized and Samanthabhadra too, I will train in their examples and perfectly dedicate all of these virtues. All of the conquerors of the three times in whichever way they supremely dedicate, I too will perfectly dedicate all my roots of virtue for the excellent conduct. In all of my lifetimes, wherever I am born, may I obtain the seven qualities of higher realms. Upon taking birth, may I immediately meet the Dharma and have the freedom to practice it perfectly. In that life, may I please the sublime Lama and practice the Dharma day and night. Having realized the Dharma, may I accomplish the ultimate meaning of the essence, and may I cross over the ocean of worldly existence in that very life. May I thoroughly teach the sublime Dharma within the world, and never become disheartened or weary of accomplishing the benefit of others. Through working impartially for the vast benefit of others, may all beings attain Buddhahood together. Om Benza Guru Dema Sindhi. 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 Allaho, everybody! Congratulations on the 28th day of your mind training. Today we got 600 of the refugees. And now, today ends the special qualities of the advantages, and from tomorrow we would go on with the intrusive circumstances. For 2 days, so for 8 days, we'll do the intrusive circumstances and incompatible propensities. Any questions? 600 today. Mm-hmm.
Kamala,
Yes.
during the Tonglen, after it says, then meditate for as long as possible in the union of peaceful and abiding and superior insight, ascertained through the two types of non-self. What are the two types of non-self?
Mm-hmm. It's selflessness of ego and selflessness of phenomena. So, two. So, ego identity, free from ego identity, and free from any material grasping. So, those are the twos. If we bring forth the realization of true selflessness, then we can gain the perfect Buddhahood. Because if we just realize the emptiness of self, then we can only attain nirvana. So we need to realize the emptiness of phenomena. Then we can transcend that extreme of peace and then attain the non-abiding perfect Buddhahood, which is the complete, perfect state of Buddha. So selflessness of ego, selflessness of phenomena. So here it says the union of peaceful abidance and insight that's what is emphasized in the Vajrayana, or in our tradition, that shamatha and vipassana are not separate. Shamatha and vipassana are integrated together. For example, when we're doing refuge, so focused in our visualization or in our refuge meditation, that is shamatha, and then knowing the essence of one's being, that is emptiness, or as the nature of wisdom, and that is the insight meditation. That way you see the emptiness of self, emptiness of phenomena.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Any total beshe? Jim and go love me said that love me to have a chair calculation, calculate, please.
Temple,
Yes.
what you just said about the shamatha and vipassana while we're reciting the refuge and visualizing the refuge field, I just want to make sure I really understand that. So the shamatha is the reciting and the visualizing the refuge field, and how is that the union of shamatha and vipassana? Sorry, just really didn't.
Yes. Shamatha is here, bringing one-pointed focus in your meditation. Shamatha. So one-pointed concentration in bringing forth the refuge field in our mind, and then the refuge field that we have, knowing the nature of wisdom, that is the insight. So just like when we're looking at the refuge field, if we have any kind of objective grasping, then that would be affirmation of the existence of phenomena, existence of anything. So refuge, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas abiding as some kind of eternal identity. So that would kind of posit that there is some phenomenal reality. And then, that would be positing like something that is ultimately existing. And when we realize, when we bring forth the awareness that the refuge field is the nature of omniscience, compassion, and the power of liberation, then those are taken care of. So back to Leroy's question was, selflessness, ego is like I. So we all sentient beings have this very strong notion of I, ego identity. So like in the meditation, to see the selflessness of ego, then we need to look for I thoroughly from head to toe. So we check every bits and pieces of our flesh, blood, bone, tissues, veins, or nerves, or whatever you want to. You cannot find ego. You cannot find I. And then they come to realize, oh, maybe that ego is just an awareness or consciousness. So they again go on like, okay, which is that ego? And then you kind of see that moment of consciousness. So the stream of consciousness, like split second of consciousness, like that. Traditionally, they didn't have a second, they never counted a second and so forth. But now let's go back to the time of Buddha. Then this meditators would contemplate like 1,000 leaves stacked together, 1,000 leaves stacked together, like leaf, like leaves. And then they would imagine like a blade cutting through with one instant, all through that 1,000 leaves at one instant. Like this is called kechik. It's like kechik. It's like a snap of a finger, like a single moment. Kechik. And then they would kind of contemplate in their meditation how long it took for that blade to pass through one leaf. So it's 1,000 of a moment. So that's called kechik chame. Then that is the indivisible. From that moment onward, there's no time split. Time. There's no more division of time. So that's called the kechik, shepa kechik chame, is awareness which cannot be further divided into any frame of time. And that is what they think as that's existing. That is the final existence of ego. That's all. Other than that, ego has no existence. And that's how they see that ego does not exist, because it cannot be found in any aggregate or any part of the body. And then it is only that indivisible moment of consciousness that is held as ego. But that is not ego, because it is just a moment, indivisible moment of consciousness. And that's what they come to realize, saying there is no self. There is no, they don't say emptiness. They say the selflessness of ego, because the word emptiness only comes in Mahayana. They don't say the emptiness of ego. they would say the selflessness of ego, meaning the self has no identity, has no reality. And then they further meditate on what are the nature of these table, chairs, and walls, and house, and mountains, and all of these. And they just break into molecules or this atomic particle where they cannot subdivide any further because there is no more dimension. If you have any dimension, still it can be divided because it has facets, it has some dimension of like that. It can be further divided into east, west, north, south, or like that. There is no more division whatsoever. That is the ultimate. So they go into that kind of meditative absorption where they see that phenomenal reality, phenomenal existence has no reality. It is that subatomic partless particle. There's no further dimension that can be subdivided. So these two are what they come to the selflessness, the selflessness of ego, the selflessness of phenomena. And still no emptiness, because these two they posit that are existing ultimately. So because they can rest in that state of cessation, they can arrest themselves, or they can rest in that mindfulness, awareness, in that state of seeing no self, because they say in the Theravada or the general Buddhist tradition that ego is just like the rope in the dark, grasp as a snake. So now they clearly see there wasn't a snake at all, it was just a rope. So they have no fear. That's why they say now they have the foe, the enemy of samsara was that ego. They completely vanquished. That's why they are called arhat, ego destroyer or ego conqueror. Drachom, meaning they have vanquished that ego. That enemy is the ego, or the ego is the enemy. So they vanquish. Like that. So that's how you go. So, and then of phenomena, there's no more true existence. It's just a partless particle, like that, floating in space or whatever, like that. That's how they realize the selflessness of the two. Now, in our way, then we have to realize even further that what actually holds on to these two as selfless ego, the selflessness of ego, not selfless ego, selflessness of ego, and the selflessness of phenomena are actually mind, that conceptual mind. But the conceptual mind is emptiness. So that's how the Madhyamika, beneath Madhyamika there is mind-only school, and then above that one is the Madhyamika, the emptiness school, like that. So this is how they bring. So now when we meditate, any meditation that we do, we need to bring forth. I'll talk more tomorrow. There are three things that we need to bring. So it will be too long today. To remind me that tomorrow tomorrow or hereafter when we have time, I'll talk about these three things that we need to bring in our meditation. So one is the view, one of them. The third one is the view. And so if you don't have the view, there's no practice. So the view is the combination or the union of peaceful abidance and insight. Insight meaning understanding true nature is insight. Insight doesn't mean something conceptual. Insight is understanding the true nature. So that's why when we're doing refuge, first of all, bringing in our mind the refuge field. If you are distracted, there is no shamatha, there is no peaceful abidance. Peaceful doesn't just mean quite, shunning or kind of ignoring all those things and just trying to close your eyes and so forth, especially in the Vajrayana, in our tradition, in the heart essence. That's not peaceful abidance. Peaceful abidance means resting without any concept, resting without any concept, that is so focused. Of course, we would say here in your refuge, we have the concept of I taking refuge to Buddha and so forth like that. There is that concept, but it's allowed. So that is the shamatha. But now see that concept that we have of the Buddha being our refuge, I, the one who is taking refuge and so forth, should be understood as emptiness. As non-existing. That is the insight. So these two have to go together. Does that answer your question? Yeah? Yeah, Ben, you asked. Yeah, that's the way how you use. That is applied to everything. Guru Yoga, Mandala offering, Bodhisattva, and so forth. If these two are not there, then the skillful method and wisdom is not there. So that's no practice, no essential practice. Okay. So that's all for today. And then everybody have a very good full moon. It's very auspicious that we ended our this is the seventh day. This is the seventh day according to the mind training. It's the one whole week that we went. It's complete, and it's so wonderful that we ended on a full moon. So it is a very, very good sign that all of our practices will blossom like the full moon. It will completely wax totally, perfectly. So be joyful. These are good signs. We didn't intend to end on a full moon, but things happen. It's a very, very auspicious interdependence. Miraculous. Okay, everybody, stay well, and then later, if you have time, join for the Buddha Puja talk at 10:30. Okay.
Kempo, do you know what time the full moon is?
Full moon is today. So full moon started like 2 a.m. this morning when we woke up.
Wow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So touch the leg and then bye-bye. Have a good day.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.